So I actually just took a buy in here. This is a higher time frame trade, so yes, the low time frame looks very unfavorable. It's more so a play on the higher time frame move, right? Overall bullish trending range. We do have this overextension at the downside, beginning to roll over though, kind of just expecting this move to be filled, given we are in this overall bullish trending range. Ideally I would get in earlier and take a scalp, but I just kind of got on and saw this opportunity, figured I'd test it out. So yeah, just kind of looking for price to retrace a bit. DXY's overall positioning is looking super favorable, extremely overextended to the upside. So yeah, interested to see what will happen. Kind of just sitting at break even right now, but yeah, this is probably a trade that'll last a while, so I'm not going to sit here and record it, but yeah, we'll check back in a little while. Actually, let's it is, yeah, it's right there. Definitely the highest time frame trade I've taken in a while, but the buying volume just felt really nice here, even with the bullish DXY, and now DXY is hopefully going to begin kind of rotating to the downside a bit. Obviously I have no idea really, but just kind of felt like an intuitive entry. All these AOIs and shit are from last night, but yeah, just figured I would jump in. Typically New York kind of ends with a lower volume, kind of rangy retrace of any sort of impulsive move that happens earlier on, and especially where this is in our overall direction. I think it's a decent entry. Now where this is a higher time frame move, I think management is very logical. What I will do is once we break this high here, and we just did actually, or we're about to, I'm gonna trail stop to kind of just below these lows. I'll give it a little bit of breathing room, but I mean that's a huge difference risk to reward wise, and definitely logical in my opinion. So got in kind of in there, targeting up here. Initial stop was down here, going to pull to about right in there. Alright, so low time frame wise, beginning to fizzle out a little bit, but overall I trust the higher time frame structure. I took the trade for a reason. We are also coming into about 30 minutes into the hour after immediately driving bullish, so it would be reasonable to expect some sort of pullback here. I'm aware of that. It would just be illogical to exit a trade based off of fear that we're going to go into drawdown or something like that, right? I took the trade based off of overall higher time frame direction, right? You look at the 4-hour type 3 pulled down to 50%, seeing a strong buying reaction back up. You look at the daily, we're within this, okay, my mouse is retarded, but we're within clearly bullish structure here. Broke this high, pulled back to deep within this move, and are now getting buying pressure. And even the weekly, if you're looking at this pretending it's the 1 minute, right, you're looking at this structure in isolation, it's bullish. So that's what this trade is based off of. So little low time frame fluctuations like this aren't a cause for an exit. All right, so getting ready to manage this trade depending on how we react here. Reason being is there's actually news in about 10 minutes, which I mean, I just didn't see that when I entered the trade, but it would just be illogical to hold through that. So really any sort of impulse to the downside here, and I'm going to exit. All right, out there. All right, so ended up closing for a little bit under a 1 RR. I really couldn't care less about that. I'm trading the market. I'm not trading stats. Um, but yeah, I think it was a very sensible close with that news. Obviously, gave us a pretty unfavorable reaction. Will this likely continue? Yeah, maybe, but I'm not trying to gamble on news. Basically, how I managed this right here was I recognized the news was coming up in about, I think it was 7 minutes or so. But we were actively pushing bullish with volume as I realized that. Um, I wasn't going to close on no shift whatsoever, right? If we're just actively driving in my direction, there's no sense in closing. So I was just simply waiting until we got really the slightest bearish shift. I was just going to close and hope to maximize the probability that I got out at a decent price while, of course, getting out before the news, which was about to drop in, I guess, 9 minutes. Maybe I closed on, I don't know, 10 minutes, something like that. Wasn't looking to hold through. So, yeah, happy with that close. And yeah, I think it was a solid entry.